Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Chicago Blackhawks franchise mode here in NHL 23. So in last episode, we had free agency and we started up the season simulation. And as you can see so far, we are 22, 16, and 3, which is not too bad. We are in a playoff spot, but not by much. As you can see, we have played 5 more games than the Jets, but we only have 5 points up on them as well. So I don't really know if this team is technically simulating as good as I was hoping to, but hopefully we have a strong second half of the season and manage to get ourselves back into the playoffs again, because obviously we are running out of time in this series. Like, we're already near the end of 2043, which means I think we only have like 4 seasons left after this, which is absolutely insane to say. So hopefully we can make it back to the playoffs again and give us another shot at a Stanley Cup, especially with guys like Vance, Persois, Recchi, all kind of like on the decline. But anyways, before we get into potentially making some trades and simulating the rest of the season, I do have a couple comments to go over. So the first one is from Michael Dost, who says, Vance passed Parrott with 912 goals. I believe Parrott had 901 goals, and that is true. So shout out to Asher Vance, who's now the best goal scorer in my ever in my history, as he has eclipsed 901 goals. Will he be able to hit 1,000 goals is the question, because if he retires this year, obviously he won't be able to, but I could easily see him still able to reach it if he plays till 37, 38 years of age. But he's been really good goal scoring wise so far this season. In terms of point wise, not so much, but he is still scoring like he normally does, which is great. Also, Michael says, I would look at giving a shot to Dallas Bruce at fourth line and get rid of Brunstrom, as he's getting up there in age. And Brunstrom was a defenseman, so we were kind of having a back and forth discussion. And we decided that probably that we would be leaning towards getting rid of Gustafsson or Martins, because obviously Bruce is a left winger, and you could see kind of we're building up a really good foundation of left wingers, because, well, there's Wharton, who we brought in a few years ago. We have currently Curtis Coburn, who's out with an injury. He will be back soon, I think. We also have Johnny Hawley, who we literally just drafted first overall, and then there's Gustafsson at the moment. So there is kind of a logjam of left wingers at the moment. I don't know if it makes sense necessarily to move one of them, but I think it does eventually in the long run. Martins, I think, is only signed. No, he signed for 2 years. What about Gustafsson? 3 years. So it's very similar contracts, and they're both very similar players in terms of overall ratings. The thing I would probably lean towards getting rid of Martins is because he's a sniper, and we already have a lot of shooters on this team. So Gustafsson's the two-way forward, and that's kind of something we still need in our bottom 6 eventually. So I think what I'm going to probably end up doing is trading Martins and then moving Gustafsson over to the right side on the fourth line, putting Dallas Bruce as a fourth line left winger or right winger, one of the two. And then eventually once Coburn comes back, he'll go up here. So basically Zubris would be the extra forward instead, because I don't know if Zubris really has a long-term plan here. He is signed for 2 more seasons after this, but I don't know. There's also Ziska, who's only on a 1-year deal. So we could always try and, I guess, find a new center for that fourth line and get rid of Ziska at some point. But I do kind of want to rework this team a little bit. Not too much, obviously, because I don't really know if that will hurt us or not. So I think we are definitely going to look to be making a trade, maybe just for a pick to get rid of Martins, because I think I'd rather hold on to Gustafsson just because of the defensive play, like I said, and then the rest of the team would pretty much just stay the exact same. That way we could get Dallas Bruce in, who Dallas Bruce was a low elite that we drafted in the second round, and this guy has jumped up to an 83. He's a power forward, which is nice. So I think if this guy eventually gets into our top 6 or top 9, he should start scoring goals. We should probably give him some power play time too while we're at it. But yeah, very excited to call up that guy when we get that point. The next comment is from Saturn Otaku, who says, to be fair to the coaches, I wouldn't want to make my living in Rockford either. So I guess Rockford's not a great place to make your living in. So that's kind of a funny shout out to Rockford, Illinois. And then the next comment, actually also from Michael. I forgot about this one because it was kind of out of order on my screen for some reason. But he says, great job getting Bennett and Dillon. Really liking the way this team is shaping up. The AHL team looks good too. And yeah, the AHL team is pretty stacked with a bunch of 70s. And some of them are NHL bound too, which is really cool. And then the last comment is from my buddy Kevin, who says, at 42 minutes, I noticed there's a player from the Anaheim Ducks called B. Dice. Is his first name Bob? It would be funny to see the Ottawa Red Blacks head coach in the game. I don't think his name is Bob, but we could check just to make sure. Just to make sure it isn't Bob Dice. Where is Bob Dice? Or did he get dealt? We might have to player search him. He might have got dealt from Anaheim. Let's go to the player search tool. Unless, yeah, he said it was a player, so it wasn't a coach. I haven't seen much players with the last name Dice before, so let's see. Dice. No, he is still in Anaheim. He's just a CHL prospect. His name is Bear Dice. So that's a bit better of a name, I'd say, than Bob Dice, to be honest. Like, if you have a first name of Bear, it's pretty cool. So, and there's another Dice, too. Bear and Malik Dice. Probably brothers. Probably brothers. So those were the comments I got in last episode. So let's see what we could get for Martins. If for some reason we can't get really much from Martins, maybe we'll lean towards getting rid of Gustafson instead. But I think we'll try and move Martins just because, like I said, he's a sniper. We have a lot of snipers with like Huxley and Hawley and all that. Well, Hawley's actually a power forward, right? Yeah, we have actually a lot of power forwards getting into our lineup, especially on that left side because Coburn, Hawley, yeah, both power forwards, and Dallas Bruce is a power forward. So we're going to be a very big team in a sense. Like, Bruce is 6 foot only, but he's still a power forward. Coburn is 6'3". Hawley is 6 feet, but they're all like physical kind of guys, which is pretty cool. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Let's go to centers because Martins is technically a centerman. I mean, we could technically get rid of Ziska. That might not be bad, but I don't mind Ziska's defensive play and his face-off ability. Because what I was thinking is maybe we could move Martins as a fourth-line center, but the thing is he's kind of offensively minded, so that kind of makes sense to move him. He also has a little bit more value, too. How does his value actually compare to Gustafson's? Yes, I didn't take a look at that. Let's see. They're literally like almost identical in value. Martins actually has a tiny bit more value, which kind of surprises me. So yeah, we'll get rid of Martins, I think, out of the two of these guys. Let's just see what we get offered for him. A third and a fourth rounder. That's not too bad from the Ducks. I'd probably just take picks, to be honest, just because might as well. Second in a top 9 prospect that's probably not going to make it. A third and a guy. Huh. A second round pick to get rid of Martins is a pretty decent, to be honest. A lot of these are kind of late round picks. I'm guessing Arizona is still a good team, so that's probably why they're willing to give up a second. Philly will give up a third. See, my thought process is if we get in a second round pick, we could always use that to trade up in like the draft until like a late first round pick if we want to eventually. So I might accept this one here from Arizona. Who is this Appleby dude though? Oh, not bad, actually. Okay, that's actually kind of a decent trade. That's actually a really good offer from the Coyotes. Because basically, we get rid of a roster player, we get a free second-round pick, and we also get a depth forward that could give us a little bit more depth in the playoffs and stuff like that. Like, we could take this guy in, and then we could also call up Dallas Bruce, but this guy will be like a depth forward for us. And we could send somebody else down or some shit like that. So I think I'd like this trade a lot, actually. It's kind of interesting because me and Arizona are both in the exact same spot. We're both 22 wins throughout our first, like, 30-something games. I like it. I like this deal, I think. It definitely helps out Arizona in a sense to being a better team right now. It kind of makes us a little bit worse in a sense, but calling up Dallas Bruce makes us better. So let's just do this deal and see it go through. So there you go. We have traded away Martins to the Arizona Coyotes. And we will call up Dallas Bruce. Is that guy that we just acquired is still in our lineup? Yep, Appleby's going to be one of our depth forwards. I like that. And then Corey could be still the other depth forward at the moment. Because I don't want to call up Brookbank and use him as a depth option. So we could always call him up in the playoffs. But let me go to edit lines here. And let's throw in Dallas Bruce on this. Let me throw an Appleby here for a sec. Actually, wait, no. I'm going to throw Dallas Bruce exactly where Martins was because since we do have that injury still to Coburn, I want Dallas Bruce to be playing where Coburn was. And then we could kind of rework it once Coburn returns from his injury. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, we have a lot of power forwards in the lineup, which, I mean, could be a good thing, could be a bad thing, too, because sometimes they do take a decent chunk of penalty minutes. But, yeah, once Coburn's back, Bruce will come out. then we will kind of think about who we want to take out on the bottom 6. It's either Zubris or Ziska, I'd say. If one of these guys could play faceoffs, then we could definitely put them as the 4th line center instead of Ziska if we want to, but I'm kind of leaning towards taking Zubris out, but I don't know. We'll see. We will see when we get to that stage. And then in terms of the AHL, we will throw in who is scratched. Oh, wow, okay. I guess we were low on AHL forwards, so I guess we'll just throw in his defenseman as the 4th line left winger, because why not? I could actually just go best lines down here. I don't really care. There we go. Perfect. AHL is nice and set up and ready to go, and same with the NHL team. Excited to see what Dallas Bruce could bring to this team, because like I said, I wasn't expecting this guy to jump up as fast as he did. In the AHL so far this season, he had 22 points in 33 games, 13 of which are goals, coming over from HPK in the Liga. So there is that. And now that's, I think, going to be our only trade. That's going to be our only trade in this season. And I'm going to hope that this team can make it into the playoffs. So let's see how we play up until the trade deadline. Maybe we'll have to make more moves depending on how this team simulates over the next month or two. But we definitely want to see how Dallas Bruce does. So let's go to the 31st. Coburn should be back soon, I think. 8-1 win, 5-1 win, 5-0 win, 3-0 win. Holy shit. Okay. Okay, that's a really good sign. We are barely allowing any goals in that stretch, and we're scoring a good amount. So Coburn is now up and ready to go, which means we do got to send somebody down on the forward group, which that means, Corey, your time up here is done. We basically replaced you with another depth option. He goes through waivers and clears, which will now give the AHL team enough forwards, which is good, instead of having a defenseman play forward. And now we got to take Dallas Bruce out here briefly to put Coburn in. And then we will probably... Who's been the weakest bottom 6 guy? 12 points, 37 games, even 0. You have 11 points in 37 games, -1. And you have 15 points in 47, even 0. Zubris is technically a power forward, so... let's see. I don't want to put Holly on the 4th line, to be honest. Okay, yeah, we go Huxley on the 4th line. We take Zubris out. And then Dallas Bruce could jump in here. Yeah, Dallas Bruce could jump in here. We'll also put him on the power play if we can. Yeah, I like this a lot. We might have way too much power forwards, but it is what it is. So Coburn, Bennett, Brossois, Yokel, Vance. That's good. Hawley, Recchi, Burish. Let's try and get Bruce in somewhere. Let's take out... how has Brunstrom been? Not bad. He's actually been pretty solid. Kaupinen offensively hasn't done much, so I'm going to take Kaupinen and back off the power play. And we're going to put Bruce on the point. Or actually, maybe I should put Johnny Hawley on the point because he's a better shooter. So, there we go. That way we could get the youngsters in on the power play, and hopefully a lot of them get good growth. But the good thing about us drafting a lot of good left wingers is now that Vance is getting close to retirement, at least we have like the foundation to take over for Vance, which is really nice. Because Vance technically is more of a left kind of winger that we've been using, at least. He's a center, but we use him as a left winger usually, so to draft those kind of replacements is pretty clutch, I'd say. Is Huxley on the power play too? Because I don't know if he'll complain about ice time. He is not. Yeah, he might complain about ice time being on the 4th line, to be honest, but we'll have to roll with it. We'll have to roll with it. So then, yeah, the depth options, Appleby, Bobrovsky, and Zubris. We'll try and get Zubris in a few more games this season as well, but not right now. Because Dallas Bruce is basically taking over his spot, so... Okay, let me stop the sim because it's kind of glitched out. Okay, we lost a couple games, but still we are doing really well to start this episode, which is nice. Scoring a lot of goals, which you love to see. It's probably Vance just going off or something like that. 30, 18, and 3. That's a much better month, and that also helps out a lot in terms of us making the playoffs potentially this season. A 6th round pick, a 7th rounder in Cairns for a goalie that's only on 1 year left and a defenseman. Wow, that seems like a decent deal. I'm not going to do this, but it seems like a decent deal. Because we basically get in an 82 overall backup goalie that's been playing pretty good. What? Why are they trying to give me him for like a 6th and a 7th? Like, these guys shouldn't be negative value just because they're 1 year out. And in a depth defenseman, kind of. Wow. Wow, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. But I honestly don't have the room for these guys at the moment because we already have 2 goalies in the NHL, which is Tayupkin and also Devin. And then technically defensively, we already have like Jokela, we have Carter, we have Kachuk, Kelpinen, Brunstrom, Bonino, Fragon in the AHL. Bobrovsky's a depth defenseman. I don't see it, but it does make sense in a way, but at the same time, it gives us way too much. And I don't want to have way too much. It seems weird, though, that they would take this low of value, though, for Morgan and Perhorkin. Because Cairns isn't really much of anything. I get he's an offensive defenseman, but damn. That's a weird deal. That's a weird deal. I would definitely do that if I wasn't already in a good spot. But damn, that's... wasn't expecting that kind of offer. Hey, we're almost at top of our division, which might be a good thing, might be a bad thing. Let's see who's leading us in points. Brossois still over point per game. That's good to see. And the last wildcard spots are at 60 points. So we're only 3 points up. Jeez. The teams that are not in a wildcard spot, though, have 55 and 53. So we're still kind of in a battle in a sense. But obviously, this team's on a good trend right now. So we definitely just want to keep it up if possible. Because if we fall apart, then we can miss the playoffs. And we don't want to fall apart. Let's keep on simulating. There's another nice win over the Golden Knights, 3-1. A third rounder and a low bottom 6 for a third rounder and an AHL top 2 defenseman that's making $6 million. Seems like the trade logic is kind of interesting right now at this stage. Like, I guess Vancouver is just trying to offload that salary cap hit, free up some cap space. But obviously, I don't really want to take a guy that's listed as an exact AHL top 2 and making that much. Still kind of interesting that we're getting thrown these type of offers, though. Game against the Jets. Okay, there's another guy on waivers. Don't really need him because we got a log jam of players. Would it be nice to have more depth? Sure, but at this stage, I'm okay with what we got. No, I'm not giving up any of my prospects because we need those guys for the future. Third and a fourth and Antropov for 2 guys again. It seems weird, some of these offers that I'm getting. But we are on a really good pace here in the second half of the season. Like, we barely lost any games here. Wow, 37, 18, and 3 all of a sudden. Yeah, we're definitely going to be making it to the playoffs, I think, at this rate. Wildcard has 68, we have 77. Yeah, this has been a really good second half. It must be because we have a lot of power forwards that could score goals and all that. Let's go. Who's leading us in now in points? Still Brossois. Watch it like Vance is going like crazy ham in the second half. We're 10-0 in our last 10 games. Let's go, boys. We might be actually a good team for once. But watch, we're going to be a first-round exit because this game always likes to slap me in the face when it comes to that. Okay, let's keep on going. This team is on a good pace. I don't think we need to really look at anything in terms of changes. Let's go 1 week, though. Still up to a day before the deadline. There's a couple losses this month, but one of them was in a shootout. We are now the best team in our division. The Coyotes are number 2. Hopefully Martins doesn't come back to bite us, because if he ends up making the playoffs with the Coyotes and then beating us in the playoffs somehow, I would be kind of mad. But yeah, we are currently the second best team in the entire NHL. The Ducks are the best team in the NHL right now. Damn. 39, 19, and 4. Let's go do a day after the deadline and see if there's any interesting trades to look at, but I am not making any more trades, even though we just lost that game before the deadline. As long as we make the playoffs, it's okay. Even if it's by the skin of our teeth, you know? Let's see if there's been any former players traded around. I don't think there will be because a lot of them have retired by now. But still, might as well take a look anyways. See if there's anybody we recognize. I believe that defenseman Krause that got traded to Toronto was the guy that got drafted the same year as Bomeister, if I remember right, unless it's a different Krause. Anybody else that I recognize here? Let's see. Don't recognize anybody so far. I should definitely start doing this more often in franchise modes, looking at what trades happened at the deadline, just to kind of give it a bit more of a story to the franchise, you know. Yeah, I don't recognize most of these names. Okay. Okay, let's continue simulating and see if we make the playoffs, which we technically should, unless we have a colossal collapse, which hopefully is not the case, because obviously this being one of Vance's probably last years of his career, we want to have a strong finish here. Oh, ho, ho, ho. No. This can't be true. Vance never gets injured. I mean, never. He's only been injured like 1 or 2 times in his career. He has suffered a concussion. You can tell he's getting old because of the concussion. Oh, he's out till April 14th, which means his regular season is over, and he likely will not win a Richard because of this injury. God damn, that's a big blow. That's a massive blow. I think he misses some playoff time, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, Zubris needs to be put in the lineup, but we do need to kind of rework this a bit here. So Curtis Coburn, you're going to be taking over as the top line center, because I know you can take face-offs. Dallas Bruce, you're going to second line left wing. Huxley, you're going to fourth line right wing. And then we are going to put in Mr. Zubris back on the fourth line. Not substitute in all lines because I need to make sure he's not playing where Vance was on the power play. Oh boy. This is painful. When you see a channel legend like Vance go down with that, that's not good. He might not be able to break 1,000 goals now because of that injury too. God damn. Let's get Huxley on the top power play, because he didn't have any power play time beforehand, so I'll keep the second unit the same. Man, this sucks a lot. I hope he is able to come back for the start of the playoffs, because if we start the playoffs and he's not able to be returned, we might struggle a little bit here. Why is it saying that there's nobody in that spot? Hello? I literally just put somebody in. Let me put Benino in. I think it's glitched. Man, I hate when this game glitches out. Unless it goes away when I press B. Duplicated roles on 4-man power play 1. What do you mean duplicated? There is no duplicates. Yeah, I think it's broken at this, but I might have to go best lines here actually. Yeah, we're gonna go best lines and reassess this. Oh my goodness. That injury really blows, man. And then once Vance is back, we'll have to rework stuff again. But, man, why? Why him of all people? I don't want Huxley on the top line, I'm sorry. I am sorry, I do not want him up there. There we go. Wharton should not be a fourth line center. I don't get this game sometimes in terms of logic, but it is what it is. We will go Wharton up here. We will go Coburn as the... Coburn is a second line center, I think. Yeah. And he'll play with Bruce and Recchi. Then we have Holly, Bursch, Huxley, Zubris, Ziska, and Gustafsson. Yeah, that looks okay. Yeah, that looks good. It doesn't look as good as it was with Vance, but man. And wow, he dropped to an 86. God damn, he's going to retire this year. He is going to retire this year. I almost feel like he's guaranteed to retire. At least we have guys we could call up if we need to, but yeah, that is a shitty injury. Because he's back on April 14th, it said. And when do the playoffs start? He will be back for the end of the season. He will be back for the end of the season. That's at least good, but... we better win a lot of games here still, because if we end up losing like 10 straight games without Vance, and this is his last year of his career, I would be really pissed off. Yeah, this is probably Vance's last season, I think. Because the way he's dropped off this year, I would not be surprised if he retires. That's nobody important. That's the guy that was getting trade offers for. Let's just go best lines in the AHL again. Wow, we've been losing a decent amount of games without Vance. He's like the heart and soul of this team. But we are still in a playoff spot. The last wildcard spot is at 86 points now. And we're at 88. Or actually, the last one's at 84. We might end up finishing in a wildcard spot this season, which is kind of crazy. Now Burnstrom's been injured, so another old man goes down with an injury. Holy. Season ends pretty late this year, looks like. We're still in a good spot. Let's keep simulating 4 games, see if we do good in these ones. Burnstrom is back. Oh my goodness. If we miss the playoffs after all this, I will be really mad, and I probably would not want to continue this series almost to an extent. Come on, guys. There's a win, and another win. Okay, good. We got to win those games, because obviously if we don't win those games and we miss the playoffs, Advance retires. Everybody will be mad at at the series, I think. Vance should be back within the next 2 days, which is huge. We have not clinched a playoff spot yet. The last wildcard spot's at 93 points. Teams outside of the playoff spot have 89 and 88 points. I think we're in a good spot. We just need to get at least a win here in these next 2 games if possible. Vance is back. That is huge. That is absolutely huge. Let's go best lines again here for a second. And we need to rework this again. Gustafson got scratched this time. Interesting. So I want the top line being the way it was before. I want the second line being the way it was before. I want the third line looking like this. And I want the fourth line looking like this. Perfect. Defensively, I don't remember what it was like, but we'll leave it like this. Goalies is going to stay the same. Power play wise, they put Hawley on the top unit. Interesting. Bruce, Gustafson, Huxley. They didn't put Curtis Coburn on the power play, which I don't understand really. I'm going to take Bennett off this top unit and put Curtis Coburn at center. And then I'm going to put Bennett as the second power play unit center instead. Because I don't want Burrish in that spot, I don't think. Actually, Gustafson shouldn't really be on the power play, though. Yeah, maybe we should... well, let's take Bennett and put him there. And then we'll take Gustafson off. Actually, maybe I'll keep Gustafson there. Yeah, why not? Why not? As long as we have all our young guys in, that's good. Okay, there we go. It's a little bit of a reworked team, in a sense, but we are back to full health, and hopefully Vance can keep on going, and hopefully he doesn't retire this year. We won 1 and lost 1. We did clinch the playoff spot, so that's good. Let's get these last 3 games done. What a roller coaster of emotions these last few games, huh? So we finished 49, 29, and 4, which is 3rd best in our division, so yeah, very stacked Western Conference this year. Like, we were definitely not the best team in the West, but that's a good thing, too, because maybe that gives us a psychological edge going into the playoffs. And Brossoit finished under a point per game because of those injuries to Vance and such, I think. But let's take a look at our team stats and player stats for the season. Wrap up this 2043 regular season year and see who we're always going up against in round 1, too, because that's just going to be exciting. So, yeah, we finished as the 5th best team in the entire league. 4 other Western Conference teams above us, those being the Jets, the Flames, the Coyotes, and the Ducks. There was only 6 teams all this year that finished over 100 points. And, yeah, we were one of them. Goals for per game wise, we were the 4th best offensive team. And definitely Vance's injury made us fall off a little bit, I would assume so. We're the highest seeded best offensive team because the Islanders were the best offensive team and they were just below us. But there's that. Goals against per game wise, I think we weren't that bad. Yeah, we weren't that bad defensively, so the goaltending numbers must have improved in the second half. So I like that. I like that a lot. Power play percentage wise, we were at 18.6%, so our power play wasn't really that great. The Islanders once again had a good power play, so the Islanders might be a threat this year. So there's that. Penalty kill wise, 83.5, which has us not super good, but not super bad either. But the best penalty kill team was weird though. Colorado had the best PK, yet they were the 30th team in the NHL. It's crazy. Where were we in shorthanded goals? Doesn't seem like anywhere. Anaheim had 15 though. Jeez. Yeah, I don't think we scored a lot of shorthanded goals. 7 shorthanded goals, that's not bad. 26-13-2 and 23-16-2. 7-3 in our last 10. I'll take it. Let's take a look at these player stats for the season. See who did what. So, Bennett, Bennett had 72 points in 82 games. He's a pending free agent. I might bring him back, but he might ask for a lot. Pretty good season from Carl Bennett. Asher Vance, 41 goals this year in 68 games. He would have hit 50 if he didn't have that injury. But he finishes with 59 points only this year, which is his lowest point total in a very, very long time. Like, I mean a very long time. Like, he hasn't scored below 60 points since, I think, his rookie season. Yeah, since his rookie season, he has not had a point total this low. Then again, he missed a lot of time because of injury, but still. Oh, it sucks that he got injured, because or else he would have had another 50-goal season in his repertoire. But there is a good chance he retires this year. I'm telling you. He's dropped down to exact top 9, 86. I could see him retiring at 36 years old, which is very disheartening. Burge had 47 points. I believe he's a pending free agent, so we might have to sign him for a multi-year deal, especially if Vance retires. Not a bad year for Parker Burge. I like it. Ziska, 26 points. Pretty solid. He's also pending free agent. Curtis Coburn, 57 points in 67 games, 34 goals. If he was healthy all year as well, he would have had a really good season, because he had as much as he did in his rookie year, but in way less games. Wharton, 54 points. Kind of dropped off a lot, but it could also be because of Vance's injury. I don't know. He had no power play points. Was he not on the power play unit? Because if he's not on the power play unit, I need to put him on the power play unit. Because I didn't realize that was the case. God damn. Hawley had 36 points, 25 goals. That's a pretty solid rookie season for young Johnny Hawley. Him and Coburn will be the future of this team. Huxley, 35 points, pretty solid. Gustafson, 30 points, pretty solid. Dallas Bruce really came into his own when he got called up. 19 goals in 29 points in 41 games. He was on pace for like a 38-goal season in his rookie year. Wow. Wow. Sucks that he won't be up there for the Calder likely, but this guy is very helpful. At least we have a lot of good players coming up, because that will help us make the playoffs for the remaining years. Brossoit, 76 points is pretty damn good, considering he's been dropping off too. Recchi, 57 points. 57 points is pretty good. He's dropping off too. Literally, we might lose Brossoit, Recchi, and Vance all in 1 year, and then our team will take a pretty big hit. But hopefully we're able to weather the storm with the young guys coming in. And then Zuber's 18 points and a -9 through 51 games. And he's dropping off because of morale, so maybe there's a chance we trade him or keep him around for next season. Jokela was really solid, 61 points, 77 games, plus 27. Maybe up there for Norris, who knows? Probably not, though. Bernstrom, 25 points, plus 10. Not too bad. This might be his last year as well. We might have literally like 4 retirements in the same season. Kachuk, 19 points, plus 4. Bonino, 19 points, plus 9. Not bad for his rookie season. Carter, 18 points, plus 18. That's why he was brought in. He's also a pending free agent. I'd like to bring him back if we can, just because he's a good shutdown guy. Kaupinen, 14 points, plus 3. And Bobrovsky had 5 points in 7 games as a depth defenseman. Goaltending-wise, Tayupkin, 33, 25, and 4 with 3 shutouts and 902 save percentage and a 3 goals against average. Not terrible, but not great either. And Dylan Devon was pretty damn good as a backup. 16 and 4 with a 915 save percentage and a 2.54 goals against average. That's a pretty good rookie year for him. The question is, do we start him in the playoffs over Tayupkin? Or do we just go with Tayupkin, and if Tayupkin does terribly, Devon could just show up and be that guy maybe? That's interesting. Let's take a look at stats across the league, see where our players finished, even though probably they didn't finish anywhere close to the highest scoring. Yeah. Highest scoring guy was Charlie Gardner in Carolina with 105 points. Sadikov up there for the Islanders, Fournier for the Carolina Hurricanes, and Robichaux. Not a lot of 100-point players this year, which is kind of a surprise. Best goal scorer was Fournier in Carolina with 55. And wow, okay, Carolina had 250 goal scorers. Fournier and Gardner, and then Robichaux up there for Calgary. Just seeing up there as he normally is for San Jose. Greening up there. A couple of 50 goal scorers, which is cool. Vance would have been one for sure if he didn't get injured. Like, look, Vance finished all the way down here, but he played way less games than everybody above. Like, on the pace he was, I think he could have been up there in the top 5 for sure. Who's up there for Selke candidates? Out of curiosity. Probably Lucas Earl. Yeah, probably Lucas Earl. 56% on the draw and 145 takeaways. Let's head to the defensive ones. So, Graham Snyder, 75 points in 79 games, likely to win the Norris, unless they give it to Arjokala for the plus-minus, but I doubt it because it's a 14-point gap. So, likely it goes to Graham Snyder. Denisov was also up there. In terms of goaltenders, the best goaltender for wins, Brennan Reimer in Anaheim, Easton Donald in Florida. Man, shout out to Easton Donald. Blackhawks legend. I'm joking, he's not really a legend, but still. Cool to see him being up there. Most shutouts by a goalie, Backstrom, Melnick, and Zeeler with 6. Best save percentage by a starter is Svedberg with a 916. Nice. Goals against average, Svedberg with a 258. But Devin was one of the best goalies in the league. Mind you, he was a backup, but still, in terms of his stats, he was one of the best in terms of like save percentage and goals against. Any goalie crazy assists? Leonardo Englund with 4 assists, and Gunderson. I remember that guy from Arizona, right? I think it was Arizona. Yeah. He was in the AHL for a few years in Arizona. I remember that. And best rookie this year was Shannon Thomas in Vancouver. Igor Volchenkov was number 2. Hawley was up there in the top 10 for rookie points. And then, yeah, Dallas Bruce wouldn't be too far out. So, he would be probably like, yeah, he's literally down here. If he played a full season, he would have had 58 points, which probably would have had him winning a Calder, which is pretty crazy. So there is the player stats for the season. Now we got to take a look at who we're going up against in round 1, and then that'll be it for this episode. I might pre-record next episode, I might not. I might wait till you guys give me some feedback on who we should be starting in the playoffs for goaltenders. But we're going to be taking on the Winnipeg Jets, who went 47, 25, and 10. They have home ice advantage, interestingly enough. Probably because they had a lot of more extra frame losses than us. So they got points out of those games. They're 8-1-1 in their last 10 games going into the playoffs. So this might be a tough task for us in our first round. Sucks that one of these teams has to go out in the first round, though. I didn't want to go to team stats there. I wanted to go to team stats in the regular season. Yeah, they were the second best team in our division. They only finished 2 points above us. We were better offensively. We were better defensively. We were better power play wise, and we were better penalty kill wise. So technically, we should be the better team, and we should be able to knock them out. But playoffs are a different animal. Anything could happen, so tough to tell on that front. If you want to take a look at the playoff tree, here's the playoff tree. So it's us and the Jets, Arizona and Nashville, Calgary and Seattle, Anaheim and San Jose. And then in the East, you have Washington, Carolina, Islanders and Devils, Sens and Leafs, and Flyers and Panthers. Let's take a look at what the Jets team looks like, and then that'll be it. Because it's been a while, I think, since we played the Jets. I know we've played them, I'm pretty sure, in the postseason, but I don't remember what year that was. So, top line, Alexander Malkin, Marshall Boyes, and Mario Drouin Delorier. Pretty solid top line. Second line, Isaiah Haskins. Oh boy, I forgot about Haskins. So this is the guy that went first overall the year Curtis Coburn was our pick. Okay, how did this guy do in his second season? Pretty good. Oh, it's going to be interesting to see who ends up being better of the two of those guys. Haskins has a little bit better overall-wise right now, but it's going to be cool seeing Coburn face Haskins. It's like almost like Laine versus Matthews in a sense, like that old conversation. Cyrus Van Allen as the second line center is a bit weak, but still not bad. Leonardo Rupert. Third line has Guy Dezay. They also have Cohen Bowman and Aiden Lieb. And a fourth line of Mason Yonkman, Quinn Generous, and Cody Getzlaff with a K. So that entire forward core is decent. Like, they do lack a little bit of center depth, and maybe winger depth, you could say, in a sense, but they do have some good studs. Obviously, like Boys, Malkin, Drouin, Delorier, and then Haskins really good. Rupert, too. Everybody else is kind of more like third liners and below, but still, pretty solid team. And then defensively, this is a pretty good defensive core, too. You have Radek Erat, Dorian Mendez. Second pairing has Radek Klesla and Pat Visakis. That's a solid top four. And Callie Christensen, the guy who went first overall before Asher Vance, will get a chance to get some redemption on him for being the better player in the draft. That's interesting. I don't think we've ever played Callie Christensen in the playoffs. Maybe we did when he was with Vancouver, but I can't remember. But it's still, that's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. And then Callie Nordstrom is the other defenseman. So you got two Callies as a pairing. Yeah, it's a good defensive core. Better than I expected. And better than some teams we've played in the past. Goalie-wise, okay, this is where they're not so good at. They have Cristiano Jeffrey as their starter as a 79 overall, and Garrett Dawes is the backup as a 70 overall medium backup. So this is hopefully where we're able to beat them, because we got higher overall goaltenders, but these guys could also be cheese goaltenders. We've definitely ran into cheese goaltenders. We've had cheese goaltenders ourselves in the playoffs. So hopefully these guys are not those type of guys. This guy played 63 games this year, had a 905. So we can't really underestimate these type of guys. Just maybe they're better than they actually look. And depth-wise, they have Igor Butsayev. What, I recognize your name, undrafted. They also have Scott Menard and Mark Thero. Okay, so they don't have the best depth, and they don't have the best goaltending, but they have a good forward core and good defensive core. So I think it's going to be pretty interesting to see who ends up winning this for sure. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Chicago Blackhawks franchise mode. So in next episode, we'll take it to round 1 against the Winnipeg Jets as we look to get ourselves to the second round and hopefully beyond that, because there's a very good chance we could have 3 to 4 retirements this season. So anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.